Starting off with the year 2004, the first prank ever doesn't really contain some amazing idea, nor is it really a huge elaborate prank. On April 1st, 2004, all the regular programming was aired as always, but with mustaches drawn on the characters. That's all. Yeah, that's the thing, the first few pranks aren't that interesting, but I'll still cover them for historical reasons. Kinda funny if you happen to catch it at the time, but not really the boldest thing AS ever did for April Fools. Still kinda funny nonetheless, okay? Moving on with 2005, one episode of Robot Chicken that was supposed to air was replaced with some pilot. I don't care, it's fucking boring, okay, move on. In 2006, AS aired reruns of old action cartoons like the Mr. T Show or the Chuck Norris cartoon. I for one didn't even know they existed. Then they continued airing episodes of Full Metal Alchemist and Ghost in the Shell something 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 with fart noises added to the dialogue. It's a small prank again, but it's still one of those pranks where I think it would be kind of funny if you happen to catch it live, if you happen to be there at that time. Moving on with 2007, and this is actually a prank where I can actually sit down and talk a lot more elaborate about it, because it's actually the first real hilarious prank that Adult Swim did. Or should I say pranks, because the thing about 2007 is that that year contained two pranks in the same year, so that's kind of special because that's kind of rare and doesn't really happen all that much. On March 31st, Adult Swim aired all episodes of their show Perfect Hair Forever in reverse order. Perfect Hair Forever is some low-budget anime parody with just a bunch of people at Adult Swim coming in and writing and doing voices and fucking around. I never really watched it, but if I would try to piece together the plot, it's about this boy and he wants perfect hair because his hair is shit, and yeah, that's all I know about the show. On the night of April Fools, these episodes were edited to look like old videotapes with incorrect English subtitles. But this was actually, again, as I've mentioned, not the only prank that happened that year, because now we're getting to something really funny and kind of one of my personal highlights. In 2007, the theatrical release of Aqua Teen Hunger Force was announced. You may know this show, or you may don't know it. I think it's sorta popular, but if you want a quick rundown, it's about fast food items doing random shit. Basically. The movie was supposed to release on April 13th, but then all of a sudden, prior to April Fools, Adult Swim started airing bumpers on TV, where they said that they were going to air the whole movie on TV prior to its theatrical release. They hyped the whole thing up with bumpers repeatedly saying that they're gonna air the movie. The April 1st hit and the entire movie was actually aired in a tiny box in the right corner of the screen without sound, while regular programming was aired. So basically, you couldn't properly see or hear anything from the movie. This, to me, is probably like one of the funniest pranks they've ever done, and goes to show what I like about AS. It's just such a stupid idea, but a really funny way to troll the audience. Sometimes the screen would show notices that would keep reminding you that the movie was even there, because, as I've said, regular programming aired over it, and the whole movie was barely noticeable. A very bold move, and I thought it was funny. 2008 was cool. It was basically a bunch of pilots and unfinished episodes of Adult Swim shows strung together in a 1.5 hour block. There's not really that much to it, but I was only expecting a sort of chill, more, oh, something unexpected happened prank after that 2007's big ADHF movie Fake Out. There's not much to say about it, but it's certainly better than the 2005 prank, which was literally just one thing got replaced with something else. Starting at midnight of March 31st in 2009, Adult Swim aired the beloved cult classic The Room 2 times in the night without any announcement prior. I don't think that The Room needs an introduction. You are tearing me apart! And I'll admit that it is kind of ironic that they played it, and if any channel would air this movie, then it would be Adult Swim. Followed by this movie was an episode of Tim and Eric Awesome Show where they actually had Tommy Wiseau come over and do an episode with them, which was also pretty funny. But if only the viewers would know that this would not be the only time they would air this movie, because following up with 2010, they aired the movie again. They followed it up with the Space Ghost special where he interviews Tommy Wiseau. It was still kind of funny, but kind of uncreative that they were just doing it again. And turning out, this also wasn't the last time they would air The Room, because in 2011, Adult Swim aired The Room again! It's kind of unfunny now. Yeah, I mean, it's not really that hilarious anymore. I mean, if you do it one time, that's alright, but if you do it 3 times in a row, like, that's not really that funny, but they at least had something. They aired this 15-minute special called Earth Ghost, and I don't even know what the fuck that was about. Certainly the weakest prank of them all. I mean, all of the pranks featured some sort of creative concept, and airing the room the first time was funny, but like, come on, 3 years in a row. It's not funny anymore, okay? 2012. Adult Swim started airing the opening sequence of The Room, and then oh shit, it's Toonami! For everyone that doesn't know what Toonami is or what Toonami originated as, Toonami was this anime block on Cartoon Network that aired in the 90s, and the big deal about this prank was that it was really nostalgic to a lot of people, and I guess it was sort of a big deal that they brought it back. Not for me, because I don't really watch any anime, but for a lot of people. After the opening sequence of The Room was aired, the scene switched to the Toonami host Tom, noting that it was April Fool's Day before introducing an episode of Bleach. The Toonami bumpers and programming would continue throughout the night, and they aired a bunch of episodes of animes that I don't know. I need to read some names here, one moment. Dragon Ball Z, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, Technimuyo, Ryo Oki, Outlaw Star, The Big O, Yu Yu Hakusho, Blue Submarine number 6, Trigun or Trigun, I don't know, Astro Boy, and Gigantor. It's cool if you enjoyed it. I just think it wasn't really all that amazing just because I'm not that much into anime. So let's just move on with 2013! 2013 featured a relatively simple and harmless prank. Regular programming was played, but there are pictures of cats all over the programming and the bumpers and everything. There were cats and bumpers, cats in the shows, and the logo was changed to Meow Meow. A neat little prank, I guess, and it's alright that not every year is something completely overblown. We don't need an ADHF movie prank for every single year, so I mean, things like these are mildly funny, but it's not really something you can talk about for that long, so I won't. 2014. 7 years after its cancellation, Adult Swim decided to air a brand new episode of Perfect Hair Forever. Oh shit! The show we talked about earlier. You remember? I still haven't watched it. Then after that episode, a random Space Ghost marathon happened with many bumpers that contained outtakes and deleted scenes of the show. It's alright. I mean, at the end of the day, it was just this new episode in a marathon, so if you don't care for the show, I don't think it was all that interesting, but I guess it's kind of cool to see when any network brings an old show back, so I guess there's that. 2015! Random unannounced Aqua Teen Hunger Force marathon, but this time with a twist. So basically all the episodes contained coins that were all on the screen, all over the screen. At random points, the characters on screen would walk or jump in the episode, so they would consequently jump into a coin and they would get a point. There was a chart on the lower side of the screen and all the points were counted up, and at the end the character with most points won. One of the more simpler but good pranks, just because it's this creative idea that I like. And it also justifies airing an ADHF marathon, which I can definitely get behind. Also Master Shake won. In 2016, there were numerous advertisements shown for April Fools, hyping up that year's prank and counting down all the amazing pranks they've done. When April 1st happened, regular programming was aired, basically insinuating that the prank for that year was that there was no prank. That's basically it. While I find this funny in theory, I honestly think that having all these bumpers leading up to it kinda ruins the prank, and it would have been funnier to have April 1st arrive and have literally nothing happen without any sort of buzz prior. Just let the fans feel confused. 2017. On March 31st of 2017, Adult Swim aired regular programming, but just with weird sounds laid over them, like robot sounds, laugh tracks, and fart noises, along with a bunch of random sound effects. This prank, though, gets completely overshadowed by the prank on April 1st. On a rare year of double pranks, Adult Swim opens up at 8 PM with the Rigatoni Season 3 premiere! Holy shit! Because Rick and Morty Season 2 ended on a cliffhanger, many fans were interested in how the first episode of Season 3 would resolve the conflict. The premiere aired from 8 till 11 PM and was mostly received positively, because people were incredibly hyped for the episode and it was a neat little surprise. Although it did have one negative side effect, because it aired till 11 PM and the episode preempted a Samurai Jack premiere. It was not that much of an outrage, honestly, because the Rick and Morty is finally back hype overshadowed all of it, but there was a surprisingly vocal minority complaining about Samurai Jack not being aired. But who cares? Who really cares? 2018. In 2018, Adult Swim's Toonami was cooking up the revival of a classic anime from the early 2000s called Fooly Cooly. They were planning to do a season 2 and a season 3, and before the second season even came out, Toonami premiered season 3 of the show as part of the April Fool's prank in Japanese with English subtitles, which they normally don't do. They aired a movie called Mind Game after that, also in Japanese, and the Toonami characters all talked in Japanese too. Then on April 1st, we actually got another prank. 2 pranks in a year, again. At 11 PM Eastern Standard Time, Adult Swim premiered Bushworld Adventures, an 11-minute Australian Rick and Morty parody. You may know Bushworld because it has like a quadrillion views on YouTube, and the short was repeated 3 times. In addition to that, bumpers were aired with Australian landscapes, so Adult Swim was all Australian themed that night. I feel like Bushworld Adventures in and of itself is way funnier than it should be. 2019! April Fool's 2019 saw the premiere of the new prestige anime parody Game Setu Machu Picchu, created by equally prestigious Max Simone, or Simonette, I don't know, who co-hosts Fish Center and Blood Feast, 2 streaming shows on AdultSwim.com. Game Setu Machu Picchu revolves around the main character Makazu, who travels along with the god of tennis and challenges Incan gods on his life quest to get better in tennis, where he learns to deal with his traumatic experiences regarding the sport. The thing about this April Fool's prank, though, is that they didn't just premiere a new show, like 1 episode of that show. It started at midnight, airing 6 full-hour episodes through the course of the entire night, with commercial breaks, like an entirely new show just for April Fools. It has theme songs, fake commercials with action figures, scenes where after 5 hours the creator thanks you personally for watching the show. And after the show aired, they then proceeded to upload the entire thing with all the hour-long episodes edited together onto YouTube, free to watch. Another thing that was cool about this prank is that on the same day at 6 AM, a whole new 24-hour-long Adult Swim channel in Canada was supposed to launch and replace another channel called Action, but then they just started at midnight, airing Game Setu, contrary to what the programming guide was saying. I don't know, that's just kind of funny to me that Canada just sort of went along with the prank. The show itself seems to be alright, but I can't speak all that detail about it because I've only really seen the first 2 episodes. It seems to have some funny parts in it and works for what it is. I mean, the whole show is this big meta joke anyway, because it's just like the 6-hour-long glorified shitpost made to trick people. A lot of shots that are just intentionally drawn weird and messy, long, bizarre scenes, a lot of improv too.
You knew of my arrival, my
And viewing the show in that regard, it's kind of funny. Prior to the prank, the whole thing actually got leaked. Not the show itself, but the actual schedule for that day. Hulu Live showed it on their page, so some people already knew that something was going to air and would be 6 hours long. They just obviously couldn't figure out what the fuck a Game Setu Machu Picchu was. But that was basically it for 2019. 2020! Coming to the most recent prank, 2020 actually had something interesting happen prior to the prank, because on March 31st there was actually a 3.5-hour block listed on the schedule called 708 Swim Fun, starting at midnight, replacing regular programming. This was the first time we got any hint as to what the April Fool's prank might be. 708 Swim Fun is actually the phone number with which you can call in on Fish Center, a streaming show I've mentioned before while talking about 2019's prank. Another hint that was given regarding the 2020 prank, while not intentional, is that prior to the prank a trademark was filed by the Cartoon Network Incorporated called Game Setu Death Beats. There was speculation regarding that on the AS Discord when first found, and most just assumed that this was it, this spoiled the prank. It's just gonna be a second season of Game Setu Machu Picchu and nothing more. Just the same thing again. Just like The Room, they're going to do this 3 years in a row now till it gets unfunny. I even think there was a theory floating around that this trademark is a prank in and of itself, made so we think that this is going to be this year's prank. I mentioned that because I just found the theory kind of amusing that Cartoon Network is filing trademarks here and there just to fuck with us. But if I had to make an assumption, most people thought that April Fool's 2020 is probably gonna be Game Setu Season 2, and yes, I'm too lazy to look up Discord chat logs to prove my assumption correct, thank you very much. When April Fool's came, this ominous block listed on the schedule started airing, airing, and...
Previously on Game Usetu Machu Picchu.
So at that point there was basically no doubt in that April Fool's is basically just going to be Game Usetu again. Except that the episode stopped after the theme song. We hear a voice and out of nowhere... Post Malone appears with some guy. I don't know who he is. His name is Adam. Okay. Post Malone announces that he and his buddy are going to play beer pong, and that the cups stand for individual episodes of shows. So in whatever cup they throw the ball in, they premiere a new episode of some show that's supposed to air in 2020. The Game Usetu Season 2 fake-out opening apparently really was a prank in a prank, and it seemed like this year's April Fool's was going to be new show / new episode premiere night with Post Malone. Basically, 2008's prank on a larger scale. We started with Primal, to the Rick and Morty anime sketch, a new Dream Corp LLC episode, the season 2 premiere of Tigtone, over an entirely new show, YOLO Crystal Fantasy, a new Shivering Truth episode, new Robot Chicken, new Laser Wolf, another new show called JJ Villard something something, new 12-ounce mouse of all shows that could come back, and the whole thing ends with a new Tender Touches episode and a new pilot called Smiling Friends. This was actually one of the pranks I saw live. I saw maybe half an hour of Game Usetu Season 1 when it aired in 2019, but this was the first prank I've actually experienced live and in full for the first time. Let's just say that when it started I was really confused. I used the wrong stream and the other stream was just kind of behind all the time, so I just saw, oh, Game Usetu is on, and then, oh, Post Malone is there and says something. I didn't understand anything, and I got an explanation as to what was happening by my friends on Discord watching with me, and by the time I got what this was actually supposed to be, it was actually starting to be really fun and less of a prank, but more of a sort of event, if that makes sense. There was a lot of new content in this prank, and yeah, I didn't like or actively watch everything, but it was legitimately interesting to speculate what new episodes or what new shows might air next as the thing was still going. I was kinda sad when it ended at 3:30 because it was a really fun experience. And also, Post Malone made cameos in all of the shows that aired, so he just randomly appeared hiding somewhere behind windows or standing at some other place. Coming back to Game Usetu Death Beats, as of writing the script, Adult Swim actually announced a second season of that show coming in November on Toonami. And season 2 seems to be a bit more of an actual show in that sense that it won't just be a long-running joke. I'm just excited for next year's prank, even though I feel like with this prank and 2019's prank, I got a bit spoiled. I just feel like next year's pranks are going to be a lot calmer and not sort of, oh, we got 10,000 things going on here and these premieres, but a lot more so in the vein of changing a small thing here and there and sort of laughing at it because it's kind of ridiculous. But honestly, I don't know, and I should maybe end this video because I keep rambling.